Welcome and hello. I'm your host, Bob Bernigan, reporting for the Garden Sun. We've been away for a while. Let's just call it a vacation of sorts. Tonight, let me tell you a story, but not one of fantasy. This is a story of truth.
Dear, that's not how we raised you, did we? Said Mother, with anger pinching her throat. Apologize for taking his things. We told you to never take what doesn't belong to you. She was right. She apologized to the kid. I guess she was considering his feelings. Ironic. Maybe we are meant to consider the feelings of strangers and not family. She said not to take what doesn't belong to us, but she felt it so easy to take my self-esteem. That belongs to me, right? The hell did I know? I was only 5. To be fair, poor Mother was nervous at these events. She had always come with Father. This was his world. The suits, the drinks, the politics. Ugh, this place was steeping with self-absorbed, controlling pricks. But the hell did I know? I was only 5. At events like these, there was always that one shady fella. His drink never seems to finish, eyes never stop wandering the room, darting around, and only ever landing on... Wait, no, he's looking right at me. All right, look around, look away. Oh, wait, I'm 5. He's not spying on me. He's just walking closer. Oh, God, be calm. Just turn around and be a 5-year-old. The man approached us. He was tall. I mean, everyone was tall to me, but this man was taller. He wore a clean black suit, red tie, and shoes so black and polished, I could see my little face on them. Staring at his shoes, I also missed something else he was wearing. A smile. But not sweet and subtle, no. This one was ear to ear and blinding white. Safe to say children can detect the vibes of people around them, and this guy was screaming. He's looking right at me. Squatted down, hands still in his pockets. Hey, little man, what brings you to such a boring party? Stuck with Mom over here? He said to me, smile and all, a voice deep and growly with an intention behind it, as if he already knew who I was, or what I was going to be, or that I'm having this internal dialogue. Safe to say my 10 seconds of silence was enough confirmation to him that I was startled and shaken, and nothing but a simple 5-year-old with no backbone. They say a child's skull is soft and something about their knees, I think, but I know I'm very curious. When would I finally grow a backbone? God, I gotta stop talking in my head. I'll start to develop some imaginary friends. He went away and spoke with my mother. He could also tell I was eavesdropping, but I didn't care. What could this man, if you could call him that, have to say to my mother? Barbara, dear, how's Phil? Is he still distant? Always on his little trips. A mistress is hard to keep up. My hand was pulled by my mother pretty hard to leave the door after her hand was pushed even harder against that man's face. I can't lie and say I didn't have quite the giggle at what I saw, and yet the one left smiling was still that tall, odd man. We got home late that night, the tension easing from her face. Mom, are you okay? I asked. A genuine question, or as genuine as a 5-year-old could ask it. For 3 words, they seemed to hit her as hard as the 3 words my dad said when he went away. I love you. She cried. I don't know when she stopped, but when I woke up again, she was passed out on the same couch. I asked her the very question. Oh, Mother, you try so hard. I held her hand and sat next to the couch. I was only 5, but I knew hell enough to know this was heaven for me, spending time with my mother. And under my breath I whispered the only thing a 5-year-old could muster up. Mother, Alas, the day you've had brought down a thunderous downpour, filling your gloomy heart with a melancholy truly unbecoming of such a wondrous caretaker. If not but one favor I have to ask of you, simply a small favor to my selfish needs of a sweet and scrumptious confectionery. Mother dear, please, can I have a ring pop? Hey, I was only 5. I don't often recall that time in my life, but one thing I know to be true is that I was loved through and through. The death of a father is hard. The death of a mother even more so. An unimaginable betrayal of nature to my personal feelings. How dare it take away my happiness? At least that's what I thought of my friend Mosley's parents' funeral that my parents and I attended. Mosley had a lot going on already, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. Inheritance didn't mean much to me, but a lifetime of ice cream? Now we're talking. His mom was the sweetest, but his dad, now that was a man's man. Power tools, golfing, scotch. God, cliche much, but hey, he was tough on Mosley. Probably made him a better man for it, though. And curiously, their family had an old golden chest, a family heirloom from the looks of it. Reminds me of Dad's little trinket, a ring he wore, this old bulky black ring with a ruby gemstone that always drew me in. I hope I inherit it. Not that I want my dad gone anywhere near God, no. But the inscription on it was so cool. A language I didn't know, and I feel like it was always so interesting. We'll be getting that for a while, which is good, I guess. But I'm only getting older, and so was he. How lucky I was. I was now 10. Funerals always made me feel better. Shocking, I know, but hold off the judgment. It just made me appreciate those who were still with us. A feeling I'd come to love ever since I was misplaced. Spare me the lectures that my friends would insist I sit through. Ugh, Robert, stop saying misplaced. Robert, it's called a kidnapping. Robert. I've had enough. It happened 3 years back. Father and I went to a nightly event he had grown quite fond of, a sort of tradition he wished to instill in me. I thought the whole thing quite tiring, but ice cream on a weekday was a hard bargain to take away from a child. Annoyingly, the sweet, creamy snack was always enough to whisk me away to a better time, like my childhood. Weird of me to think during my childhood, but the years felt long for a 10-year-old, and a lifetime felt like many. It was just as always. We left at 8, which is right after how old I was, 7. I know math. Dinner was served and we were ready to set off. Dad took me out the car and he fastened me into a car seat that I definitely had grown out of. I'm sure it gave him some sort of comfort knowing I'd be safe, if only he knew what the rest of the night would be like. He played the same songs, as if he played those same songs enough times that when I got older, I would remember him. Like I could forget that old man. Nothing about him was simple. He was always so happy, willing to be a father. I think he saw enough movies on how to be a father that maybe he felt like as long as he did what they did, everything would be okay. And I would love him. Little did he know I would always love him because he was my father. Not because he was trying to be a man that he saw in a movie or on a show. I didn't really have a choice. That I know. I think even now, some days, I would hum the same song I heard in that car every time I had a little cold delight to enjoy on a weekday. Mango sherbet. That's what he liked. That's what he really enjoyed. I didn't really have a taste for it. I was more of a cookies and cream child myself. But hey, at the least I had a favorite flavor. Mom, though, was always picky. She never knew what she wanted that day. It was always a 10-minute argument, and then she'd get the same thing I did, cookies and cream. What a coincidence. What came first, the cookies and cream or the argument? Wait, because ever since I was a kid, I chose cookies and cream. My mom would always have it too. am I just discovering now that it was because of her? Wow. Poor dad. All this time he wanted me to try flavors he liked, but it was mom's flavor I liked better. Someone as highly sophisticated as I shouldn't be boxed in. I wanted to choose my own flavor. Nothing my dad had, nothing my mom had, a flavor to call my own, of course. I didn't know what flavors there were at all. I wasn't tall enough to see over whatever they had to stop children from looking at them. I guess ice cream is so good for children, not nutritionally, but I'm sure there's some middle ground somewhere. I mean, why else would they have these metallic prisons with clear glass, just teasing every child? Every time they went to scoop something, it was a mystery to see what colors would appear. No, I'm not dramatic. I'm just curious, and 7 years old. One day, the argument started in the car and not at the store. So while they were arguing, I thought, I'm old enough to get my own ice cream. At 7 years old, I guess I had the confidence or the stupidity of someone much older. Or much younger. I got out and walked in chin up high to see the ice cream better, of course, but alas, nothing was seen. I would like an ice cream, sir, I said with a beautiful smile and that adorable voice all children seem to make. The gruff old man, probably in his 20s, was very happy I showed up. Maybe a little too happy. But that's what happens when a child's unattended. The mind seems to wander. Whose kid is this? Why are they here by themselves? Why does a self-respecting kid go out in a full suit and tie? Why is his hair slicked back? His parents must be very rich, so maybe I should show the child where the ice cream is, thought this 22-year-old degenerate. What a wonderful day, I thought. I'd be an astronaut when I grew up, maybe even a policeman, maybe a teacher. I always wanted to be a teacher. I guess my job description was pretty easy. It doesn't take much to be a hostage, which is what I was. He tied me up and put me somewhere no one would find me, and my parents, perfectly on time, 10 minutes after, came looking for me. I could hear everything going on. In fact, he put me somewhere very obvious. His philosophy, he said, was, "This was the last place they'd look for you." And it was the compartment right under where he kept the ice cream. I was but a thin sheet of metal away from my parents. Why didn't I scream? Only my hands were tied. Why didn't I bang the walls? The real question is, why would I waste the opportunity? For above me was truly heaven, and beyond this wall was cookies and cream all over again. I sat there, mouth open, tongue waiting for the drops of ice cream to drip down from their frozen haven into my mouth for me to taste a flavor so unique I would forget all about cookies and cream. But no such drop came. Of course it didn't. It was frozen. Over my attempts at discovering a new flavor of ice cream, I heard adults yelling, my father furious, asking to know where his child is. The would-be kidnapper giving an acting performance much like that Wonderful Woman superhero or whatever her name is. He said, "I don't know where your son is. I can help you find him just as long as there's a reward. I don't want to get fired for not being in my shift here." My mother was screaming and crying and yelling. And though my dad was furious, it was odd. I thought he'd be more furious than he was. But I was still focused on what the clerk said, and while I laughed, I couldn't stop laughing. I think my laughter would have been heard if it wasn't internal, if it wasn't just purely inside my mind. It was more of a scoff. Why did I laugh, you ask? This guy, who I've never seen before, I've never met, said he'd help find their son. My parents didn't run in here asking about their son. They were asking about their child. So why did this guy know their son was missing? Mistake number one. One of three he'd make this night. But the ever-frantic life of my parents didn't catch on to what I was so clearly seeing. One of the four senses I still had, it was cold in here. And it was only getting colder. I couldn't feel anything. Well, even if something were to drop in my mouth, I wouldn't be able to taste it. I felt myself drifting. I'm way too tired. The ice cream usually keeps me going, the sugar. But without it, I was getting very tired. And it wasn't helping how cold it was getting. And the last of my energy, I yelled out, "Mom! Mom!" Or at least I thought I did. I didn't hear anything for a while. That night, I dreamt of my bed, a blanket of soup. I don't know things that were not cold. Maybe it worked. Maybe you just couldn't feel how cold it was getting. I guess it wouldn't make sense for them to turn their freezers off at night. You'd wake up to melted ice cream. And the night passed. It was strange though. I woke up somewhere else. A moving van. Damn. I had a feeling ice cream would get me into trouble, but I'd much rather arrive at type 2 diabetes than a second location. You know what they say about second locations. 2 masked men, gloves and face masks. I guess we will be stopping soon because one of these gross kidnappers came to get me from my shackles. Ah, well, whatever may happen to me, I'm sure it's fine. After all, this kidnapper had a little bump in his gloves, right where father wears his ring. I mean, how could I be in any danger when he's taking what belongs to him? Right, Dad?
Thank you for listening in to today's reading of The Lies We Tell. Whoa, quite the cliffhanger there. Let me know your thoughts on our social media pages. It's been your host, Bob Bernigan. I want to wish you a wonderful night. Take care, and I'll see you guys on the next broadcast.